My neck, my back, my pussy, and my crack.
I want to just say that literally this book, Pussy, the New York Times bestseller, has sold a bajillion copies pretty much.
130,000 to my knowledge.
Like insane, has changed thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of lives. I mean, when I say you're an oracle, and I've said this in our internal groups, you are an oracle. But you are, because there's so much magnetism in this book, but also just radiance. And not only that, it's just it really is a reclamation. So talk to us about the school that began before Pussy was born, the book.
Okay. Well, all right. The real beginning was once I had gotten I took a class at that school, Moore University. They gave us a homework. And the homework was to go home and prepare as if the most important person in the world was coming to visit you. But it was secretly you. And so I'd never treated myself as if I was the most important person in the world. Women, we were taught to take care of our husbands, our kids, our bosses, all of our girlfriends when they whine, our parents. Like, we are always looking at what does everyone need, and then the crumbs we take.
Totally.
And so I
do that now with my kids.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
No, you're giving me life. You are.
I have to say, you don't do you. Okay, we all do it because it's part of the culture in which we were.
So true.
Created and reared. But you're breaking out of it. Thursday nights.
The Thursday nights.
Where you're reclaiming your time for yourself and for your man. It's beautiful to see. And I've been looking for the goddess my whole life. And then I got this assignment. So I came home and I gave myself a bath and I tidied up and I poured a little Pellegrino and I looked in the mirror. And I was in a state of pleasure because I was doing all this wonderful pampering.
For yourself.
For myself for the very first time ever.
Oh, wow.
And I look in the mirror and I looked so gorgeous. And I was like, fuck. That's where the goddess has been hiding. Inside of me. She's been in me. She's in every woman. Oh, that is so fucked up. That's like worse than the periphery. She's like inside every woman and we don't know.
Wow.
We think God is male.
Right.
And so we're like ready to worship the men or male structures, corporations.
Right.
And we don't recognize, the divinity is within.
Within each of us.
And so as soon as I realized that, I was like, okay, I got to tell every woman I know because this is a big deal. And
it's huge.
I have to awaken everybody. But first I have to get awake. So that's when I moved into the sex commune, had a lot of sex and other incredible and amazing experiences for 4 or 5 years. And then
4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Amazing.
You have to, it was like a bachelor's or maybe a master's. I don't know. Maybe it was both. It was a compressed
bachelor's,
program.
master's, and a PhD. You basically got a PhD.
That I gave to myself.
That you gave to yourself. Yes.
But what the key was pleasure. And, when you were a little girl, does your mom ever pull you on your knee and say, Nitha, it's so important that you have pleasure. That will be your signpost and your guidance. And that will connect you to your most deeply held desires.
If I would have heard that, oh my gosh. Because I feel like as a young girl, I wasn't even given tools to name my private parts, my pussy, right? It was like private parts.
That's what you got called.
Yeah, it was like your private. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Mine was called a sissy, but I have asked literally thousands of women and the craziest names like Pancake, Walter Winchell, Coochie, Knish. The worst, over 50% of the women that I've polled, which is now probably at least 10 or 20,000, nothing. There was no name.
So their pussy didn't even have a name.
Yeah. And Jesus says in the beginning there was the word. If we don't have a word, we can't begin. Like, how would you explain internet if you didn't,
wasn't a word.
if there wasn't a word.
The thing.
It would be the thing.
The thing that you do.
That connects us. And then people would be like, what do you mean the thing? And then it would take a really long time. So, and why this is problematic is that we aren't given the language for that which is most essentially feminine about ourselves, the heartbeat of our womanhood. We don't even have a word. And when you don't have a word, what moves into the neighborhood instead is shame.
Yeah. Shame.
So I knew that I was dealing with myself where I had been somehow ashamed of myself for my whole life.
Yeah.
And that connecting to my pleasure broke open that construct so that
Really awakening you.
I was like holy.
Yeah.
The difference between holy and filled with shame is so vast, and yet it took a moment.
Wow.
Because that's the speed of pussy. And that's the power of pussy. It's like a woman can reclaim in a moment once she feels pleasure.
Once she feels pleasure. See you next time at the Brave Table.